And I just wanted your thoughts on Ilia Topuria vacating the featherweight title and coming up to lightweight. Do you think he's built for lightweight?
Yeah, I think he's a fighter, especially with the confidence that he has right now with those wins over Max and Volkanovski. I think, confidence is the biggest factor when you step in there. You have to believe.
Dana White waited until millions were watching the Cowboys-Chiefs game, and then the UFC 324 main event is officially locked in, and nobody expected this matchup. But while fans were still trying to process that announcement, Khamzat Chimaev jumped back into the spotlight with a message of his own, one that left the entire division guessing what he's planning next. Some say it's a warning, others say it's a stall tactic. Whatever it is, it changes the timeline for everyone around him. And then out of nowhere, Ilia Topuria revealed something far heavier, something personal, something that stops all the trash talk and speculation cold. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button to join MMA Desk, your home for fast, real, no-nonsense fight news. Now, Dana didn't use a press conference, a UFC embedded, or even a classic Instagram post for this one. He waited until the middle of one of the biggest games of the year, Cowboys versus Plath. Chiefs, when millions of casual fans had their eyes glued to the screen. Then, during halftime, he dropped it.
English, yeah?
Hey,
Speak English.
you want to talk to me like the man to man? You said something about me. I went to your country. I slapped your face. I get at the wasting win. I walk like a king in your street.
You talking English?
And what you did? What you
Is that
did,
English?
Man? Yeah, of course I
Speak
do.
English for the people.
Shut up.
The screen flashes, the UFC logo hits, and suddenly we see a hype reel that looks different from the usual promos. In the middle of it, the words appear UFC 324. Then we see two faces that almost no one thought would be across from each other for a belt this soon. Justin Gaethje, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, interim lightweight title on the line. At first people thought it was a joke or some kind of fantasy matchup edit, but it was real. It was the main event. Right there on national TV, Dana made it official, using the NFL spotlight to send a message. The lightweight division is about to get wild, and rankings or deserving status will not protect anyone from unexpected matchmaking. Right away, the debate started. On one side, you have Justin Gaethje, a man known for pure chaos. This is the guy who turns every fight into a car crash you cannot look away from. He's fought the best, bled with the best, and has been one step away from undisputed gold more than once.
Fight of the night, as you said, you probably could have written the check beforehand. Both those guys went to the hospital.
We sent them to the hospital because that's what we do. I didn't want Chandler to do any media, talk to anybody. I just wanted him to get straight in an ambulance and go to the hospital.
On the other side, you have Paddy Pimblett, a fighter many people still see as untested at the highest level. Some fans say he hasn't beaten a true top 5 guy yet. Others say his star power is enough to carry a pay-per-view by itself. Putting him in an interim title fight with Gaethje is not just about skill. It's about business, risk, and building a new face for the division. Some fans are furious. Others are hyped out of their minds. Either way, everyone is talking about it, and that's exactly what Dana and the UFC want when they build a main event like this. But the big question everyone asked right after the announcement was simple. Why is there even an interim title in the first place? The answer leads us straight to Ilia Topuria. Ilia is the man who sits on top of the division, the king with the real belt. He's the one who made the whole world stand up when he took out some of the best and claimed that gold. In the UFC 324 trailer, you can actually see shots of him, his highlights, his face, his belt. At first, people thought it meant he was about to defend his title next.
Now we're just going to describe the lightweights in one word: Paddy Pimblett.
But instead of defending, the truth came out in the form of a quiet, serious message. While the hype video showed his glory, his reality was very different. It turns out he's not ready to fight at all. Not because of fear, not because of contract drama, but because his personal life just exploded in a way he didn't ask for and didn't want. Ilia posted that he is going through a very hard moment at home. He said he needs to focus on his children and fix what is happening in his family before he can think about training camps, press conferences, or fight weeks. This wasn't a trash talk tweet, it wasn't a meme. It was a rare, raw moment from a champion who usually looks untouchable. He even said he doesn't want to hold up the division while he steps away. That's a big deal. Most champs cling to the belt and time. Ilia basically waved the UFC forward and told them, do what you have to do. I'll be back when I can. Max Holloway replied with support and hinted that he understands exactly how hard it can be to fight while trying to protect and care for your kids. That response made fans realize this situation might be even heavier than we think.
Did you have mercy?
Well, honestly, he couldn't have mercy because the guy that was supposed to stop the fight never did it. So
right.
if if one needs to die, it's not gonna be my guy.
Oh my gosh. I like this. This is a little trash talking here. This is nice.
Suddenly, the interim belt isn't just a gimmick, it's a bridge. It's the UFC saying, we'll keep the division moving, but we respect what you're going through. Ilya's sad news opened the door for Gaethje versus Bantel, Paddy to happen, and that one personal decision may shape the whole year in the lightweight division. While all of that was unfolding, another name came crashing back into the spotlight, Khamzat Chimaev. For months, people have been asking one main question: who is he fighting next, and when? Khamzat has been that dark cloud hanging over multiple divisions. Middleweights think about it, welterweights think about it. Everyone knows that if he shows up across from you, it's going to be a long, painful night. Then Nassourdine Imavov speaks up. He tells the UFC he only wants a title shot. No easy fights, no detours. He's ready to wait if he has to. That alone builds pressure. A hungry contender asking for gold means the division has to answer. And that's when Khamzat reacts. He sees Imavov's words and finally gives a timeline. He says he's down to fight after Ramadan. That sounds simple, but it's actually huge.
Do you think you can beat all those approach? Khabib finish, he's not fighting anymore. Why are you saying these things? Fitna, astaghfirullah.
It means he's not jumping in right away. It means the UFC, the rankings, and every other contender have to plan around that window. It also leaves fans with a lot of questions about what's been going on behind the scenes with his health and his long gaps between fights. The way Khamzat phrased it was like a challenge and a warning at the same time. He told Imavov that he has time to work on his wrestling before they meet. Coming from Khamzat, that's not just advice. It's a threat wrapped in a smile. The message is clear. You want the big fights? Fine, but you are stepping into my world when it comes to grappling. At the same time, the timeline he gave adds more mystery. Why so far away? Is it just about Ramadan and faith, or are there hidden injuries and long-term plans in play? Fans have seen Khamzat's fights get delayed and changed before. Each time, the hype builds, then cools, then explodes again. Now with Dana booking huge cards and an interim belt already in motion, Khamzat sitting on the side until later makes the middleweight and welterweight pictures even messier.
I think you have the style. Is that something you think about? Like maybe one day?
Of course, I've been always open for that. So I know stylistically this match for me much easier than other guys.
One tweet from him can freeze a whole division, because every top fighter has to decide, do I wait for the boogeyman, or do I take another fight and risk losing my spot? While future matchups were being teased and delayed, another fire lit up social media, and it came from two names that can never seem to stay away from each other, Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Their rivalry didn't end in the cage, it lives online, in interviews, and in every small dig they send at each other. This time it started over something that sounds simple, digital Papaka collectibles tied to Khabib's brand and his late father's image. Conor saw this and went off. He accused Khabib of taking advantage of his fans, calling it a scam, and went after him in a very personal way, even bringing up Khabib's father in a disrespectful way. That alone shocked a lot of people. Conor has always spoken wild, but this hit a nerve because Khabib's dad is a respected figure in the sport and in their culture. Khabib responded by highlighting how much money from his projects goes into rehab centers and helping people get clean, even inviting Conor to Dagestan, saying they could try to help him too. The back and forth did not stop there. Conor fired back again, calling Khabib a tax dodger and a scammer, throwing insults linked to faith and honesty. He doubled down on the idea that Khabib is using his father's name for money. At that point, fans began to split into sides again, just like during their rivalry years ago. But some also pointed out the irony. A lot of people remembered Conor's own crypto project that never really took off. That coin was supposed to change the game but ended up failing to raise what it planned. Even though it later refunded people, fans still used it as ammo, saying Conor shouldn't be the one yelling scam at anyone. Still, no matter which side people took, one thing was clear: their rivalry still owns the MMA world every time it restarts. A single tweet from either man becomes a viral topic, proves their names still draw huge attention, and reminds everyone that time can pass, belts can change hands, new stars can rise. But McGregor versus Khabib is a wound that never fully healed, and that pattern of old rivalries never dying didn't stop there. On another part of the internet, John Jones and Daniel Cormier found themselves connected again.
I want to take the time out to say happy Thanksgiving to the people who are not with their friends and family today. Happy Thanksgiving. And if no one tells you that they love you today, I love you.
Jones was overseas in Chechnya at an exclusive event with the president's son. He was there as a special guest, signing a big ambassador deal. Pictures and videos showed him smiling, shaking hands, and living what looked like a very high-level life. Then Daniel Cormier comes in with a comment that felt small but sharp. On Instagram, he asked why Jon wasn't spending Thanksgiving with his family. It wasn't about fighting. It wasn't about titles or skills. It was a personal jab. Fans who have followed their history know that DC can be petty when it comes to Jon. He's talked about Jon's choices for years. Jones could have snapped back and made things ugly again. Instead, he did something many people didn't expect. He went online and posted a calm, warm message, wishing people a happy Thanksgiving, especially those who weren't with their families. He said he loved them, even if no one else told them that day. He even used his dog in the video, making it light and positive. It was almost like he stepped around the drama instead of walking into it. But of course, fans read between the lines. Some thought it was a subtle way to answer DC without naming him. Others thought it showed a new side of Jones, one that is trying to act more mature and controlled, especially now that he's in a new phase of his career. Either way, it kept their rivalry alive in people's minds. They're not throwing punches in the cage anymore, but their names still clash in comment sections, podcasts, and highlight clips, keeping that story running in the background of everything else that happens in the sport. Away from all the big-name drama at the top, the rest of the UFC world was also moving fast. One fighter found himself cut from the roster after turning down a short-notice fight for UFC 324. His manager said he was injured after his last match and could not safely compete so soon, but the UFC still decided to let him go. That sent a clear message. This is a business, and if you say no at the wrong time, there is always someone else ready to step in. On the other hand, Chris Barnett, a fan favorite known for his wild spinning attacks and big personality, didn't stay on the sidelines for long after his own release. He signed with Karate Combat and got a new fight lined up fast. His move showed that even if the UFC door closes, there are other promotions waiting with open arms, especially if you are exciting and loved by fans. Then there was the strange case of Muhammad Mokaev showing up as active on the roster page again, sparking rumors that he might be coming back sooner than expected, even though it might have just been a website error. But it wasn't all cuts and confusion. There were moments that warmed fans' hearts too. Dustin Poirier and his wife welcomed a baby boy into the world. He shared the news online, and fans rushed to congratulate him, happy to see a good guy in the sport catch a win in his personal life. It reminded everyone that behind the bruises, knockouts, and call-outs, these are real people building real families. Then, in a surprising twist, world-famous soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo popped up again in MMA news. He confirmed that he's now a shareholder in a Spanish MMA promotion called WOW FC. For a global megastar like Ronaldo to put his money and name into MMA means a lot. It shows that the sport is growing, getting more attention and more serious investors. With soccer legends stepping into the fight game from the business side, the line between sports, entertainment, and global branding is getting thinner. Every move like that helps push MMA further into the mainstream. Even with all this noise, one of the biggest questions in MMA today sits on the legacy side of things, the comparison between Islam Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Islam has now done something Khabib never did, by grabbing gold in 2 divisions. He has defended his lightweight belt multiple times and climbed into that pound-for-pound best discussion. Some fans say he has already passed Khabib in terms of achievements, but people like Tyron Woodley see it differently. Woodley said that Islam is still in Khabib's shadow, and that when he hears Islam's name, he still thinks of Khabib first. He pointed out that Islam didn't beat older greats like him or Georges St. Pierre at welterweight. To him, Islam is amazing but still seen as the student, while Khabib is the legend who retired undefeated at 29-0. That record is like a myth. No losses, no returns. Just a clean ending at the top. It's hard to beat a story that perfect. This debate matters because it frames how we look at everything happening now. Every time Islam wins, people bring up Khabib. Every time someone from their team fights, the Eagle's shadow hangs over it. It also ties into the idea of what makes a true greatest of all time. Is it the number of belts, the number of defenses, the name value of the opponents? Or is it the story, the feeling, the way a fighter made the world stop and watch? With Islam moving forward and Khabib staying retired, that comparison will keep growing. And while fans argue about lists and rankings, the fighters themselves keep training, cutting weight, and walking into the cage, trying to write chapters that will live long after they're done. Put all of this together and you can feel how wild the next year in MMA is going to be. You've got Dana White using NFL games as a stage to announce surprise main events. You've got Ilia Topuria, a champion in his prime, stepping back to deal with heavy personal issues while still trying not to block the division. You've got an interim belt on the line between a human wrecking ball in Gaethje and a polarizing star in Paddy Pimblett. You've got Khamzat Chimaev sitting in the shadows, promising to come back after Ramadan and possibly wreck someone's title dreams. Old rivalries like McGregor versus Khabib and Jones versus after Khamzat Chimaev. Cormier still flare up online, keeping the past alive while the future forms in front of us. Fighters are getting cut, signed, and reshuffled. Soccer icons are buying parts of MMA promotions. New babies are born into famous fight families, and over everything, the debate about who really sits on the throne of legacy. Guys like Khabib, Islam, John, and others only gets louder. All of these stories are not happening in separate boxes. They are linked. Ilya's break from the cage gives us Gaethje versus Paddy. Khamzat's delay changes Imavov's path. Every tweet from Conor or Khabib still shapes how fans feel about the sport. Every comment from DC or John keeps their rivalry alive in people's minds. The business moves behind the scenes, from roster cuts to new deals, shape who we see on main cards in the first place. That's what makes MMA so addictive. It's not just fights. It's a living, breathing story, where one announcement on a random night can rewrite months of plans. And right now, with UFC 324 on the way, Khamzat plotting his return, and Ilya trying to fix his life outside the cage, it feels like we're standing right at the edge of a year that could change careers forever. When you look at everything unfolding right now, it's clear the MMA world isn't slowing down for anyone. One champion steps away for personal reasons, and suddenly the entire weight of a division shifts onto two unexpected contenders. One contender sends a single message about returning after Ramadan, and the rest of the rankings have to rethink every move they plan for the next 6 months. One halftime announcement in the middle of an NFL game sends shockwaves through the sport and gives us a main event nobody saw coming. Add in the personal battles outside the cage, the online rivalries that refuse to die, the old champions taking shots at each other, and the sudden business moves from some of the biggest names in sports, and you get a picture of a fight world that never sits still for even 1 minute. And that's exactly why fans stay hooked. You never know when a champion will step back, when a star will return, when a new rivalry will explode, or when a last-minute fight announcement will flip everything we thought we knew. The stories behind the scenes matter just as much as the battles inside the cage. They shape careers, they build legends, and they give the sport that wild, unpredictable